everybody. My name is Sarah Pons, and I'm the coordinator of the TLS Writing Center, and I'm here to tell you all about the Writing Center's new role in the thesis and/or dissertation submission process. So first and foremost, I would like to talk about what happens before you submit your thesis or dissertation to ProQuest. And just to let you all know, ProQuest is the platform that you're going to be using to submit your thesis or dissertation once it's been approved by the committee. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But before ProQuest is even on the horizon, I highly recommend coming into the Writing Center just to talk with a consultant or two, and I highly recommend coming to the Writing Center early in the thesis or dissertation drafting process. Now, I would like to talk a little bit about how exactly the Writing Center works. There is a myth about the Writing Center that we can only help with drafting, or we can only help with citations, or anything like that. I would like to just say point blank that we can help with any stage of the writing process. We can help with brainstorming, drafting, revision, citations, formatting, etc., etc. So, we can help with anything and everything involving writing, basically. Now, there is another myth about the Writing Center that the product needs to be completed in order to even have a consultant look at it. Again, that cannot be further from the truth. No finished or even started document is required in order to talk with a consultant. So, if you would like to bring in a finished draft, if that works better for you, then that's your prerogative. But just know that that is not a requirement. Really and truly, you don't even have to have started anything in order to talk with a consultant. We have several clients who come into the Writing Center and they haven't even started yet. They're still in the brainstorming stage. And all they want to do is bounce ideas off of somebody. Just get a clear and organized view on how to proceed moving forward. And that's our job. Please don't be shy if you just want to come in and talk about your project. That's totally fine. And you can bring in a paragraph. You can bring in a working thesis statement. You can bring in ideas scribbled on a napkin, and we will be happy to work with you. Another thing I would like to recommend is coming to the Writing Center often. Now, just to let you all know, every student at TAMU CC is allotted up to 3 appointments in 1 week, and that is every week throughout the semester. And we have our wonderful regulars who do utilize their allotted 3 appointments per week from the beginning of the semester all the way to the end of the semester. And we love our regulars at the Writing Center. I would like to just throw out a disclaimer that we can only allow 1 appointment per day. So if you would like to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, however it fits your schedule best is totally up to you. And one question that we get in the Writing Center quite often is, how many times can I bring back the same paper? And the answer, as many times as you want. There is no limit on document frequency, meaning you can bring the same document into your session 3 times a week, 3 times the following week, 3 times the week after, and so on and so on. We have a good handful of graduate students who come to the Writing Center pretty often, and they will bring their thesis back several times. They will bring their dissertation back several times because they are both very long documents. And we love working on theses and dissertations at the Writing Center. Which brings me to a quick note that I would like to just throw out there. There is no specific consultant designated to help with graduate level papers. So we have graduate consultants, we also have undergraduate consultants, but they are all trained to help with graduate level writing. And that includes theses and dissertations, literature reviews, methodology sections, discussions, limitations, citations, and so on and so on and so on. So you are in good hands no matter who you sit with, I promise. Okay, next step is talking about what happens after the ProQuest submission process. I would like to talk a little bit about how the feedback works in a thesis and doctoral submission process. So, once ProQuest becomes a part of your journey, your committee has already given their final stamp of approval on the content, the citations, sentence structure, grammar, etc. So once you submit your finished product to ProQuest, the content can't be changed, the citations cannot be changed, sentence structure, grammar, all of that is pretty much set in stone. It is just formatting. So the person who will be looking at the formatting of your product is the institutional repository specialist. And they can be contacted at scholarlycommunications@tamucc.edu. And the institutional repository specialist will be looking at formatting according to the university guidelines. And just to let you know, you can get a checklist of the university formatting guidelines on the main TAMU-CC website. You can just go to the search bar and type in master's thesis checklist, doctoral dissertation checklist, and so on. And then you can get a list of what all needs to be done as far as formatting is concerned. So the institutional repository specialist will be looking at that same checklist when they review your document for formatting. And just to let you all know, TAMU-CC has designated certain templates for a master's thesis or a doctoral dissertation, and the templates are branched off of Word doc. And we'll talk about this in a little bit, but I highly recommend familiarizing yourself with Word just for the pure sake of familiarizing yourself with Word, because it can get a little tricky, and the more you know and the earlier you know, the better. And I would like to talk about the Writing Center after the ProQuest submission process. So you can absolutely come back to the Writing Center for help with formatting if there's quite a bit that needs to be done to it once you receive feedback from the institutional repository specialist. I would like to specify though, if you do come back to the Writing Center after you receive formatting feedback, there are only two contacts that you can see, and that's myself, Sarah, and my wonderful lead, Emily. And you can call or email the Writing Center if you're interested in learning my availability or Emily's availability. So really quickly, I would like to go over some tips. As I was saying before, familiarity with Microsoft Word, and as early as you can possibly familiarize yourself with Microsoft Word is worth its weight in gold. Because y'all, there are several different versions of Microsoft Word that are floating around out there. There's Microsoft Word proper, and then there's the free version of Microsoft Word that's provided by the university. So, whichever version you're using, just familiarize yourself with it. And I would say stick to the version of Word that you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you're going to be using once you start writing your thesis or dissertation, because they have different shortcuts. They have different functions. So, really and truly, just learn the platform. And that brings us to our second tip, which is YouTube. Y'all, YouTube really is a wonderful resource. There are several different videos all about how to use Microsoft Word. And there are videos that talk about how to insert a table of contents, how to make a title page, and so on and so on. And many of them are by actual professors. So I highly recommend checking out YouTube. And again, check out YouTube early in the drafting stage. And y'all, last but not least, and I say this with the utmost sincerity from the very depths of my soul, ask questions. Asking questions is not a bad thing. You're supposed to ask questions at this point. Ask your chair. Ask your committee members. Ask other professors who may not even be on your committee. Ask your cohort members. Ask a mentor. Ask a writing center consultant. Really, asking questions is so incredibly important, and I highly, highly recommend just being fully transparent as often as you can. And if you have any questions about how the Writing Center can help with your thesis or dissertation submission process, you are welcome to give us a call at the number listed on this slide. You can email us at this address, or you can pop into the actual physical location. We are located in the GSSC, also known as the CASA building, and we're specifically in room 112. And if you've never been in the GSSC, it stands for Glasscock Student Success Center, and it's number 28 on the campus map. And there is our QR code. It's a direct link to our scheduling system called TrackCloud. You're welcome to scan it, save it in your favorites, and you can go back to it if you would like to make an appointment with any of our wonderful consultants. Thank you all so much. Have a wonderful day, and congratulations at entering this stage.